So things are getting rougher. I'm glad that we can at least communicate this way. The Democrats still don't do a daily briefing, press briefing, which is mind boggling. But thank you for stopping by. If you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe and tell your friends. If you are subscribed, thank you. Tell your friends. Um, the meeting today in the Oval Office, where Vance was there with Trump and Ukrainian President Zelensky, was decided in advance and ordered by Putin to be an unmitigated disaster. This was planned by Putin. And I think we all know that now. Trump and Vance aren't even hiding it now, you know. Um, it was disgusting. It was un-American. It's not just an embarrassment. It's just we know what's happening now. And many of us, myself included, focus too much on the idiot maggot in our life who believe this stuff. They don't watch real news. They are in a cult and they're told to hop on your Facebook page, whatever, and fight, fight, fight. And they think it makes them sound smart and important and they like the engagement. Don't make it pleasant for them. You don't owe them this. They are doing the work of the devil and they don't care about their friendship with you, okay? What we saw today in the Oval Office was terrifying. It's out in the open now. Russia, Russia, Russia was not a hoax. Most of us who are involved in all of this, in this stuff, in politics and media, have known this all along. I am sick of people saying that we have to be civil. And this business about when they go low, we go high. Okay, we're done with that. That world is over. But what happened today was disgusting. And by the way, the reporter, the so-called reporter from that far right-wing news site that asked Zelensky, Glenn, what's his name? Why aren't you wearing a suit in the Oval Office? That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend who asked that question. This is the press that Trump is allowing into the Oval Office, not real reporters, not real media, just his corrupt, right-wing, MAGA, fascist, pro-Putin ghouls, which is why we need daily Democratic press briefings in the Capitol building, an official briefing. Again, Pete Buttigieg, he's available. He's the best one. That we're not doing it is insane. It is now appearing to be appeasement. Ukrainian President Zelensky in that Oval Office alone, and he doesn't even have Democrats in the United States behind him, unless it's way behind him. I thought that that Schumer and Jeffries were maybe just a little turfy, don't want to be upstaged. Well, you know what, guys? Then get off the stage because you're not doing the job. And nobody expects you to do the daily briefings. You can't. You can be brought in for part of them, of course. It's a full-time job. And if you think it's not, then you're too whatever. I don't want to use the word stupid, but naive or in denial about what needs to be done. No half measures. Every single day that goes by where we don't have this, we're looking at you. And some people are now calling for you to be replaced. Both of you. Again, we're not expecting you to be the briefers because it's not what you do and you're really not good at it. It needs to be a full-time, top-level position. And the reason it's not getting done is because you're too threatened by somebody like Pete Buttigieg or anybody having that kind of a high profile. And people will die as a result. President Zelensky in the Oval Office alone being treated like this openly. He may as well have been sitting there in the Kremlin with Putin sitting across from him because Putin is the one calling the shots. This was an ambush and it was planned. So the press conference afterwards where they were going to be discussing, Trump basically stealing the minerals from the ground of Ukraine. We get our share. We get our cut like a mafia boss. That's not what America does. We're supposed to be the beacon of freedom and democracy around the world. We've been the number one nation, world leader, my entire life because of what we stood for. And we don't stand for that anymore. We're now the bad guys. We go looting. But that reporter, I don't even want to use the word reporter, that Marjorie Taylor Greene, boyfriend thug, asshole, disgusting piece of crap, who said that to President Zelenskyy, "Why aren't you wearing a suit?" Well, he doesn't wear suits. He was on the battlefield wearing fatigues for a long time. He can wear whatever he wants. And thank goodness for Congressman Eric Swalwell. He put on Twitter a picture of Elon Musk just the other day in his stupid tech support t-shirt and his trucker hat and his mafia boss jacket. I guess he might have been wearing jeans. He's in the White House, the Trump White House, at a Trump cabinet meeting and with the press, wearing a t-shirt and a ball cap. And Eric Swalwell put that picture on Twitter and the question, "Why aren't you wearing a suit in the White House?" Mocking Marjorie Taylor Greene's disgusting boyfriend. Good for him. It's going to take more than that, though. So today is the day that we're not spending any money. We're not shopping. We're boycotting. It is some of the power that we still have. I wonder how many people will really do it, though. I'm still very disappointed in the people who are anti-Trump, but they don't want to go too far out on that limb because they don't want to lose. They don't want their neighbors who are MAGA to look at them funny or something like that. They're more than happy to have the rest of us out there doing it, aren't they? That's what it feels like to be President Zelenskyy sitting in the Oval Office today, alone, out there on that limb. I love the guy. And I'm thinking back 3 years when Ukraine was first attacked by Putin. Well, actually, it was the second attack. It took Crimea first. But the attack came, and we thought that Zelenskyy would be dead within 24 hours. We woke up. I remember waking up the next day, afraid to turn on my computer or the TV because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to hear. And there he was talking to the world. He was safe. He was in hiding. They were fighting back. For 3 years, he fought back. And he, with his daily briefings, almost daily briefings, got the free world, democracy-loving people who rightfully know that Putin has to be stopped. They supported him. And that is the only reason that Putin has ever needed Trump in the White House. It has always been about Ukraine. And the MAGA in your life that think it's about abortion or, drugs coming over the borders, it's not. That's just the Putin strategy to have Trump throw you, the Project 2025 crumbs so that he could go off to the side, do what he really wants, which is take Ukraine. And Trump, who's obviously been, I now believe everybody who told us, been telling us for years that Trump is a Kremlin asset puppet spy since the 1980s. So they make the Christo-fascist maggot cultists happy with these issues that Trump didn't care about, so that Putin gets what he wants. And that was the deal. Putin and Elon Musk, once Trump looked like Trump was heading to prison, but Merrick Garland was dragging his feet. So Trump was able to announce that he was going to be, he was thinking of running for president. Because if he announced officially, that changes with the funding, so he couldn't do it official. But as soon as he said, yeah, I'm probably going to be running, all Republicans fell by the wayside. He was a presumptive nominee. And Garland did more damage. Merrick Garland did more damage to us, now Ukraine, than Vladimir Putin had ever done. And it opened the door for Putin and Elon Musk to then put Trump in office in exchange, because that meant that Trump was going to stay out of prison, in exchange for handing everything over to them. Now, the former Social Security Administrator, former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley, knows how this works. And he said, this will shut down Social Security. This will delay or stop the check. So Trump will technically adhere to, his so-called oh no, we're not going to cut Social Security. But what you do is you cut the staff by more than 50% so they can't send the checks out. So maybe in the actual line item of the budget, he won't put it in there. So they do it these other ways. That's what Elon Musk is doing. If there's no staff to send the checks out. Anyway, Martin O'Malley predicts that it will be, I think, about 60 days, maybe 90, before the distribution of the checks are halted and interrupted and disrupted. That was always the plan. Remember, dictators can't do what they do. They cannot be dictators with a healthy, wealthy, free citizenship. But if you're sick and you're poor and you're scared and everybody's just trying to survive on their own, every man for themselves, and they cut off information with the press, which is what they're doing. And once Elon, he's got Starlink, with the flip of a switch, he can shut us all down. We won't get any information. We won't know anything. And what are you going to do if your Social Security check doesn't arrive? There's nothing you can do. There's no one to call. It just won't happen. No, they're not going to hold a press conference and say, well, we've decided to cut Social Security. You're not going to get it anymore. You think that's how it happens? That'd be like expecting Trump to stand up, during the election and announce all this stuff that he's going to do. He didn't. So MAGA are now concerned. They voted for Trump and they're losing their jobs. They're going to lose their Social Security or the Medicaid. The insulin, the price of their insulin that Joe Biden dropped, went back up again. It's now a more significant portion of their monthly budget. And think what's going to happen to the travel industry when Trump, Elon, and Putin get rid of and interrupt Social Security payments. Now, some people rely on their Social Security to live. Many of those people will die. But they've now cut the federal agencies that track that sort of thing, so you won't be hearing about it. And now that the media is now in bed with Trump and Putin and Elon Musk, they're not going to be reporting on it. Remember what Trump did with the COVID deaths? He lied, covered it up, ordered his agencies to, screw around with the numbers. Lied to us. That's going to happen across the board with information we need. The weather service, all of it. You're not going to know if there's a hurricane coming or a tornado coming. They just cut it all out. So people who are dying because they're not getting their Social Security checks or medical care they need with Medicaid or Medicare, you're not going to get numbers on that. They won't be reported. Now, MAGA will say, see, it didn't happen. Everything's okay, because they are traitorous idiots. They're either idiots or they like this stuff. The MAGA people who have money that think that Trump's going to make sure that they don't pay taxes, these people are ghouls. The people who are rich and smart enough to understand how many people are going to die as a result of Trump, Musk, and Putin in America and around the country, they don't care as long as they get their tax cuts. Shame on you if you still have these people in your life. But they're really nice people. No, they're not. No, they're not. And the idiots who still believe Trump for real are going to really get a comeuppance. They really are going to get comeuppance. My friend Keith England, the rocker, he used to be with the Allman Brothers. He was on Twitter and he was saying that this, because I said something like these MAGA people who are pretending that they don't know what's happening, the ones that really do, but they're pretending they don't, remind me of German citizens during the Holocaust pretending that they didn't smell the burning flesh in the ovens. And Keith England said, yeah, there's a story he read about the German lady who, when they found out, when it was discovered what was going on in the concentration camps, she said, "Somebody needs to tell Hitler, the Fuhrer, tell Hitler so he'll know, so he can take care of it." She actually thought that he was still the good guy, that Adolf Hitler, if he knew this was happening, he would stop it, that the murder of millions of Jews was something happening. Oh, other people are doing it, but if Hitler knew about it, he'd stop it. That's how MAGA is now with Trump. So Keith England making this point, I mean, that just had such an impact on me. He's more than just a rock star. So that's what it is now. A lot of these MAGA, they know. They still like to fight because they still feel like they're on this winning team. When people start dying, they'll be in denial for a while until it's their family, their neighbors, their friends. It's going to take a while for what the reporting may never happen. It might be something we just sort of know when people start dying off. But I think I focus too much on those folks. What I'm concerned about is what happened in the Oval Office today. I mean, Vladimir Putin may as well have just been sitting there with a gun to President Zelensky's head. I can't believe that this is our country. I can't believe this is our country. And I can't believe that there are still people waiting to see what happens, or thinking that some of us who are out here in the fight have powers that we don't have. I mean, I've got this. And so again, thank you all for subscribing. And the more people we can have doing this and other independent media, the better. But I have lots of people sending me things. I can't keep up with all the private messages on various social media with people sending me things, some things that I've already posted or sharing it with me. It's like, and I feel like saying, if you haven't shared this on your own social media because you don't want to be controversial, but you're sending it to me because you're hoping that I'll put it out there to my larger audience, I kind of want to flip you the bird. And I mean that. I am more than happy to retweet you or repost and share on Facebook if you put it up there. But this business about wanting me to do the dirty work because you don't want to piss off your MAGA friends, you smell the burning flesh too.